The wind howled through the dense trees as I stared out of the window of our rented cabin. The woods seemed to stretch on forever, shrouded in an eerie darkness that sent shivers down my spine. My friends and I had decided to take a weekend getaway to escape the pressures of our everyday lives, seeking solace in the seclusion of this remote cabin. Little did we know that this would be a decision we'd come to regret. The cabin itself was quaint and charming, with a rustic charm that initially put us at ease. But as the night wore on, the charm began to fade, replaced by an overwhelming sense of unease. We huddled around the crackling fireplace, trying to distract ourselves with laughter and games, but the forest beyond the windows seemed to be watching us, its silent gaze unnerving. As the clock struck midnight, a sudden chill permeated the air. The fire's warmth couldn't seem to ward off the cold that seemed to seep into our bones. "Maybe we should turn in for the night," I suggested, hoping that sleep would provide a respite from the growing tension. One by one, we retreated to our respective rooms, the creaking wooden floors echoing with each step. I closed the door to my room and climbed into bed, pulling the covers tightly around me. The wind continued to howl, now accompanied by a faint, distant whisper that sent shivers down my spine. I tried to dismiss the sounds as mere products of an overactive imagination, but sleep remained elusive. Every creak, every rustle of leaves outside seemed to magnify, each one more ominous than the last. Just as I began to drift into an uneasy slumber, a sharp knock on my door jolted me awake. "Hey, did you hear that?" It was my friend Sarah's voice, her tone trembling with fear. "There's something outside, something's out there." I swung my legs over the side of the bed and opened the door, only to find Sarah pale-faced and wide-eyed. "What do you mean? What did you see?" She swallowed hard, her voice barely a whisper. "I saw eyes, glowing eyes, staring at me from the trees. We need to do something." As if on cue, a gust of wind rattled the windows, making us both jump. Our fear had grown contagious, spreading like wildfire among us. We woke the others, urgency in our voices as we recounted Sarah's sighting. They, too, had felt the unsettling presence that seemed to encroach upon the cabin. "We can't stay here," Mark said, his voice quivering. "We have to leave now." With trembling hands, we gathered our belongings, not bothering to pack properly. The forest outside seemed to close in on us as we hurriedly moved, shadows dancing in the moonlight, every rustling leaf a potential threat. The cabin, once a haven, now felt like a trap. Just as we were about to reach the door, a chilling moan echoed through the cabin, freezing us in our tracks. The moan seemed to emanate from the walls themselves, as if the very wood was alive with some malevolent force. Panic surged within us, our hearts racing as we fumbled for the door handle. The door swung open, revealing the night outside. The wind had intensified, its howling now a symphony of dread. We stumbled out into the cold, the forest seeming to swallow us whole. But as we ran, it became apparent that the forest was not our only enemy. Shapes moved in the darkness, sinister figures with glowing eyes that followed our every move. We pushed through the underbrush, our breaths ragged, the sense of impending doom growing stronger with each passing second. Our attempts to escape felt futile, as if the forest itself was conspiring against us. The whispering winds seemed to form words, faintly heard but impossible to understand. In the midst of the chaos, we realized we were no longer together. One by one, my friends disappeared into the night, their terrified screams fading into the distance. I was left alone, the darkness closing in around me, the glowing eyes drawing nearer. And then, just as all hope seemed lost, I stumbled upon a clearing. The moonlight bathed the small space in an eerie glow, revealing a decrepit cabin much like the one we had fled. But this cabin was different. It exuded an evil energy, a palpable malevolence that made my blood run cold. As I hesitated, the whispers grew louder, forming into words that echoed in my mind. "Stay with us forever." The voices seemed to come from all directions, and I knew that I was trapped, caught in the clutches of a nightmare that had no escape. The glowing eyes surrounded me, their intensity blinding, and then they closed in, engulfing me in darkness, and I was never seen again.